The Nintendo Switch is still showing no signs of slowing down despite nearing the end of its life cycle. And in recent times, we've seen a plethora of ports come across to the system. Cynical gamers may be quick to say that these are quick cash-in ports necessitated by a lack of a new IP, but in my opinion, they would be wrong, as gamers have been treated to some high-quality ports on the system, especially in the first 6 months of 2024. What are they like? Let's take a look. Hey, before we get started, would you mind porting over to the like and subscribe button? It's the best way that What's It Like can get found on YouTube, and I can't thank you enough for doing so. Dying Light. This title is actually a viewer recommended suggestion from both of my previous port videos, and since it's been banned in Australia, it was a very hard title to track down and ended up costing me almost $80 Australian. Dying Light on the Switch is a technical marvel, bringing open world, zombie smashing, parkour jumping, survival, first-person adventure to the handheld console with all of its DLC, fantastic performance, and gorgeous graphics. There are some compromises to be sure, but they are minimal in comparison to the size of the adventure at heart. Players will face grueling zombies, viciously swinging a range of melee weapons in visceral combat to save themselves and the denizens of the tower, the last bastion of hope in the quarantine zone. The game expertly builds tension with chills constantly running down your spine as you search for supplies and crafting materials, while the undead stalk you at every turn. For Switch gamers outside of Australia, it's an easy to recommend purchase. Biomutant. Part RPG, part action-adventure, Biomutant sees you play as your own furry mutant that changes depending on how you allocate stat points, making each playthrough a different possibility. Players can embrace the light side and be good, or be evil and help usher in a new dawn by destroying the world tree. The game features a gorgeous open world and a satisfying combat system, and it runs very well on the Nintendo Switch. The game also has a gripping story that's told via flashbacks that help tie your character's motivations to you, as well as unique and interesting characters that you'll meet along the way. I highly recommend picking this one up. Darkstar 1. Darkstar 1 is a port that came all the way from 2006, and despite it looking slightly dated, it managed to hook me in with a fast-moving narrative and RPG elements. The most unique part of Darkstar 1 is that the RPG elements are tied to your ship, and not the main character Kayron. The Darkstar 1 is actually a living ship, so upgrades mean that the ship evolves and changes along with your playstyle. Combat is exciting and fast-paced, pitting you in dogfights against all manners of nefarious space dwellers. And you can even spend your time exploring 300 systems, trading, fighting, or just doing whatever you see fit. Choices matter, however, and hunting a pirate leader could see you hunted down by remnant forces, so be prepared for a fight. The game runs at a silky smooth frame rate and has an all-new control system, giving pilots more precision control over the Darkstar 1. The Outer Worlds. Not to be confused with Outer Wilds. The Outer Worlds is like if Fallout New Vegas was set in space. It features smaller open-world planets where you can visit and interact with all manner of characters using charisma and problem-solving skills, or you can just blast your way and solve all your problems with guns, explosions, and violence. The characters are really well written and full of intrigue, and sometimes taking the moral high ground on quests still means people get hurt. It's this superb writing that makes the player embrace the chaotic world owned by the mega conglomerate, deciding whether you want to be its savior or just make some tidy profit. This entry of the list is brought to you by Space's Choice. You've tried the best, now try the rest with Space's Choice. Outer Wilds. Not to be confused with the Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds tells the story of a spacefaring people sending you, the player, amongst the stars. All seems great for the first 22 minutes of the game, until a supernova rips through the galaxy and kills everyone in it, including you. You wake up again exactly where you left off, and so begins a Groundhog Day style time loop where you must solve the mysteries of both the time loop and the imminent destruction of the galaxy. The less you know about this game going in, the better. but the game has seen a few performance updates and it's a fantastic experience on the Nintendo Switch, bringing this epic adventure into the palm of your hands. For those looking for a great mystery and enjoy solving puzzles, Outer Wilds is an essential purchase. Grounded. Honey, I Shrunk the Xbox game. Grounded was actually the second Xbox game to be ported to the Switch, and many people just thought it couldn't be done. Thankfully, they were wrong, and Grounded is a technical achievement on the Nintendo Switch. The game shrinks the players to the size of an ant in a backyard of a mad scientist, and you can spend your days harvesting materials and building up your base, or you can make a temporary shelter and just power through the story. Exploration is rewarding, and the game is very immersive, offering up creatures to fight, epic and difficult boss battles, and several cleverly thought out biomes just waiting to be explored. Grounded is an incredible game for those who like their survival games with a dash of RPG in them. Kingdom Come Deliverance. I regard Kingdom Come Deliverance as an almost impossible port. Yes, there are compromises in the graphics department to get it running on Switch, but the world the game expertly builds so immersive, you don't really notice after a while. You play a young blacksmith's apprentice called Henry, who is thrust into the service of your lord as a knight after a series of tragic events. The game manages to perfectly illustrate just how little you know in combat, wildly swinging and hoping to defeat an enemy. Those who practice more will learn to block, counter, and riposte, making them a far more efficient warfighter. There is way too much happening in the game to explain here, but think of it like a medieval knight simulator with a tragic and gripping narrative, RPG traits, and survival elements. It's a very slow burn, but well worth investing your time in. Monster Hunter Stories. Ported from the 3DS, Monster Hunter Stories is a fantastic spin-off of the mainstream series that sees you battle and collect monsters in a similar style to Pokemon. But to say it's just a Pokemon knockoff doesn't do it justice, as Monster Hunter Stories does more than enough to set itself aside from the competition to blaze its own path forward. There are so many fantastic moments in this game, like being able to fly on a Rathalos, using a Velociprey to jump over gaps, and even battling an enraged Diablos. Players will level up their monsters and build a party of mixed abilities and strengths to solve the mysteries of the Black Blight, a plague spreading throughout the world. This game is full of charm and style, and the over-the-top ultimate attacks are worth the price of entry alone. Penant. The first Xbox exclusive to be ported to the Switch, and admittedly, I was not ready for what was in store. It's currently one of the highest rated games on What's It Like, and it's no surprise as it has a beautiful art style, intriguing story, and unique world that just draws the player in on this 20+ hour adventure. I struggled to put this game down, and I don't want to spoil anything for you, but if you like games with a similar point-and-click adventure style or are looking to have an emotionally investing story, you need to get Penant on the Switch. The well-written characters and story, along with its twists and turns, explore heavy subjects like unwavering faith and control by the church, poverty and rebellion, and dealing with grief, delivering an emotional gut punch at every turn. I cannot talk this game up enough. It is incredible. Ace Combat 7. Another certified exceptional game. Ace Combat 7 is a masterclass on how to port a game to Switch. It looks incredible, has content parity with its other versions, and is just so fun to play. The price point may sting like a surface-to-air missile, but those who invest won't be disappointed. It runs at a smooth frame rate and just looks amazing on the Nintendo Switch, with smoke trails, dynamic weather, and explosions galore. The story is dramatic and over the top, following a Suicide Squad setup full of convict pilots fighting an invasion. There are over-the-top boss fights, wild and out-there missions, and some incredible set pieces like sneaking through canyons to surprise the enemy. If you have the need for speed, then Ace Combat 7 will satiate your hunger for fast and furious dogfighting action. And there you have it. I actually still have one more ports list up my sleeve, but I want to know, what games do you think make fantastic ports on the Switch? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. The best way you can support me is to like and subscribe and continue watching my content if you enjoy it. But if you do want to go that bit extra, you can buy me a coffee or join our Patreon, which shows you behind the scenes of this channel. Thanks again.